So today I wanted to talk about ghostwriting, and I guess the meta of this is really more about when you're running a service-based business, just the fulfillment side is, at the end of the day, super important. There are tons of resources out there, and most of the stuff that I see from start a personal brand or start a online business, most of it comes from a place of here's how you get business. Not very many people that I've ever seen talk about fulfillment. Tim Stoddard is one he's like, fulfillment is like the most important part. Once you have the customer, you have to do a really good job with them. And I 100% believe that too. I mean, you have to have constant business coming through the door, but you also just need to perform and get good results for your clients. And no one really talks about that in ghostwriting. So here's a few things that I've learned that I think could be super helpful. At the end of the day, even if you're not a ghostwriter, if you're just into business, service-based business especially, don't discount fulfilling for your customers. But yeah, let's jump into it. So ghostwriting, one of the big key pieces of fulfilling for your clients is research. You have to do your research, and you have to do it a lot. Writing's a big piece of it for sure, but the other huge piece of it is knowing what to write about. And no matter what your client says, they might want leads, etc. That's great, but they all want to go viral too. They all want to get they all want to have a big audience, and they want those numbers at the end of the day stroke their ego. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. It's an important part of business is you have to have an audience. And you hear a lot of people talk about going viral in a bad sense. And in a lot of cases, I don't disagree. Going viral shouldn't be the main metric that you're tracking. I think it should be one of them. I think it should be in the top three. Leads is number one for sure. But, I think going viral should be part of it. You're obviously, maybe not obviously, but you're not going to get a ton of customers from a viral post most of the time, because virality means that you're hitting, it's a message that is applicable to a lot of people, and not necessarily your core audience that will buy something from you. But it's important because that's the stuff that people care about. It's a huge dopamine hit. If you can say, I went viral this week, people respond to that, and it's cool, and it helps build your brand, and it's important. So don't discount that. But the reason I say that is you have to do the research to find out what's going viral right now. You have to look at old posts that went viral and kind of dissect them, see what made them tick. Why did it go viral? And just try to replicate that as much as possible. In my experience in ghostwriting, clients want to go viral, and they want to have leads. So it's like two, and it's not necessarily separated. But to go viral, you have to know what's going viral, and you have to know what your audience cares about and what a large audience cares about as well. So what that looks like is, scouring YouTube for creators in your niche or your client's niche that have gone viral, getting a lot of views. Look at the hooks, what drags people in. Look at the content, what keeps people coming back to the video, watching the video more and more, so that YouTube is pushing it. Like, that's a big one. YouTube's a huge one. Another big one that no one really talks about is Pinterest. Pinterest is awesome. You can go on there and look at visual ideas like infographics, cheat sheets, which are really big on LinkedIn, kind of starting to be a little bit on X as well. And then just scouring the social media platforms that you're writing on for your client. Each one's going to be slightly different. What the audience cares about on each one's going to be different. So, I like to do this weekly. So I like to do research one day of the week, usually Saturday. So for each client, I have a different list of things that I look at, different creators, different YouTube accounts, different Pinterest ideas. But yeah, that's a really big piece of it. The other one, moving on from research, is just talk to your client. Communication, it's so huge. My most successful clients, it's just a constant stream of communication, and they're also active on the most successful clients I have are also active on the platform. So I get a lot of ideas from that. Like they'll write these really great comments under other people's posts, and I will a lot of times take those comments and create posts out of those. Take the main idea, create newsletter, articles, posts, etc. But the most successful clients I have as well have me on speed dial. You know, we text all the time. It's just a constant back and forth. And that's what you want, ideally. You don't want someone that you might talk to once a month at most. What happens in those cases is that it falls onto you to kind of be their voice. And if you do that long enough without talking to them, you're going to stray further and further away from their voice, and they're not going to like it. They're going to start getting comments, but this doesn't really sound like you, etc. So the more that you can talk to that person, the more that you're going to get that voice in your head. And you're also going to know what they care about, what they're tracking in their industry, cool stuff that they've found. All that stuff makes your job so much easier. And then the third thing is just the voice aspect. So ghostwriting, it's all about writing, and it's all about basically hypnotizing yourself to talk like your client or write like your client. So I like to keep a creative brief, and just I'll put phrases in there, just like actual phrases of stuff that they say. Like if one of my clients says, "I tell ya," before they start, write that, "I tell ya," and I'll put that in posts. Or just like ticks or stuff that they say. Like if they say it's not this, it's not about this, it's about that. Those kind of turns of phrase I will add in. Just stuff to make it seem more authentically like that person. And if you can hear their voice in your head when you're writing it, like that's a really good way to hypnotize yourself and kind of write in the way that they would talk, especially. If you can even have like a podcast going in the background while you're writing the post of them talking, like that's a super cool tactical tip. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about that either. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it's those three things. You got to research what's going viral, what's doing well, why your old posts did well for that person, stay in constant communication with that person, and then three, just try to really capture their voice as much as possible. And that's fulfillment. And then you have to also track metrics is a really good thing to do, just to keep it in front of the client, let them know that you're working and you're revising and iterating on what's working and keeping track of all that stuff. It goes a long way with clients. So hope that was helpful. Talk soon.